The Boston Celtics hung in there until the end against the Eastern Conference best Milwaukee Bucks, but were they snubbed by blown calls? I'm Sarah Goodwill here with Bob Manning, Jimmy Toscano, and Josue Pavon. I know Celtics fans will say a resounding yes to that question. Let's start with what I think was the most important and biggest swing, and that was the charge on by Giannis on Marcus Smart that would have been a sixth call, but it was reversed and it was called a block. It looked to me like he fully got out of the restricted area. I don't think that is up for debate, but I do think they called it. He was moving in the air as Giannis was in the air. Marcus Smart kind of moved towards him. Guys, your thoughts on that call? Did the refs get it right, and how pivotal was that reversal?
That was the big one for me too. I know Jimmy's going to disagree with us there, but they come out of the first one that we'll talk about in a second, the first missed call on Giannis, and then Smart comes right back as he does, gets his foot out of the paint, as you said, Sierra. Looked like he got it out of there right before Giannis's knee came smashing into him. And what blows my mind about it is that it was called a charge at first. If this was a block at first and they couldn't find something to change it to a charge, it'd be one thing. But you need some ample amount of evidence to show that that was a block. And I didn't see anything there that showed me it was a block. And all of a sudden, a sixth foul on Giannis becomes a 3-point play. Like, it can't get any bigger of a swing than that, especially with the big charge after that it took to the rim and scored inside after. Like, it just changed everything about this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to get that call right, especially in that point in the game, such a crucial point. And if you don't get it right, I agree with Bobby. Like, you have to have enough evidence to say, like, this is, the decision, and there's no debate about it. Look at that play. Look how many times people have seen it. I think it's going to be a big meeting tomorrow with the NBA and the officials about this one, because I mean, they have
depending
to get
on what you
right.
think they want.
And Jimmy, before you go, Jimmy, because I know
it's a bad call, whether it's Giannis or not. I mean, it's just a bad call.
Well, before you get into this one, because I know you think that the missed call a minute before was also bad, when they said it wasn't, what was it called? And non-intentional.
Is that what hostile act?
Hostile act.
Hostile act. They didn't call it a hostile act. They went to the boards. Brad Stevens clarified in his post-game press conference that once the refs go to the replay to determine whether or not it was a hostile act, they then cannot call it a personal foul. So that's why Giannis didn't pick up his sixth. Then a minute before, Jimmy, your thoughts?
I'll say this about Giannis, just looking at the stat line: 36 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 12 fouls. I mean, how many fouls does this guy get? I mean, he's a good enough player as it is. You don't need to give him 12 fouls a game. We just talked about the first foul that they took back, but the one before that, the hostile act, complete sham bailout whiff on the referees. First of all, a hostile that play had nothing to do with the hostile act. If you look up the definition,
just a foul.
Looking up a hostile act is like two players like fighting away from the ball. That's like
Draymond.
when you go to the replay, exactly, or a fan jumping in from the stands and punching. Like that's a hostile act. I mean, this was clearly a personal foul, and in that situation, if you want to go to the replay booth and see if it was a flagrant, by all means, go for it. It wasn't. It really wasn't a bad foul. It's just the principle. It's like any other player, that's a personal foul, and because it was Giannis, they just pulled something out of their you-know-wheres, called it a hostile act, let play go on, and then to go and reverse the charge call that you guys talked about, it's just one thing after another, and yeah, I'm crying like a little crybaby right now, and I hate talking about fouls and refs, but they don't give you a chance. They don't give you two things. One, they don't give you a choice. And two, I've got about 4.5 months of pent up referee anger that I got to get out. And I guess I just get to get it out in the first game.
Well, Marcus Smart also in the post-game interview was asked about that blown charge or reversed block call, whatever it was on him. And he said, let's call a spade a spade. Giannis is the MVP, and they didn't want him fouling out of the first game back of the season.
Thank you, Marcus.
And he said it loud and clear in the post game, and I think that's what everybody knows.
So he'll probably get fined for that.
Exactly. But take that with a grain of salt. Let us know in the comments whether or not you think the Celtics were snubbed by blown calls. We'll have all of your Boston Celtics coverage as the season has returned. Yes, Jimmy?
Bobby's going to start a GoFundMe, paying that fine for Marcus if he does get fined, because he's saying the truth.
Link in bio.
You had to interrupt him for that one? All right.
We'll find all of our Celtics coverage on our website at clnsmedia.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Celtics All Access.
Yes.